Chaperones. This is Mr. Wright and Mrs. Wright. We decided to do a video for you because it was really difficult to get everybody together to go through all the information about the Rockford tour. So we're going to try to give you some information right here. Hopefully this will work for you. We're going to start off with a few things. My wife is going to talk first.
First of all, thank you for chaperoning. We look forward to this weekend, and we're thankful for each of you that are chaperoning this weekend. The trip wouldn't be possible without you. One thing that we need you to know is that we need you entirely engaged in this weekend, and want you to make sure that you attend all the activities that we have for the weekend, and keep an eye on all the kids during the weekend. You will possibly see some misbehavior from kids that are not in your particular chaperoning group. Please don't be afraid to say no and correct students that are not just in your chaperoning group. We need you to chaperone all the kids that are on the trip.
And also during the performances, we would ask that you would keep an eye on the student behavior, especially the students that aren't involved in performing. If you could also sit with each one of them and just supervise them during the performance. And remind them that they need to be quiet, remind them that they're in the middle of a concert and that they need to behave as such. That would be great. We really appreciate that. We can't be everywhere all at once. We really depend upon you to help us with that. We want to try to have them stay quiet, not make loud noises in some of the retirement. These people aren't used to that, as you know. And we really would like it to be a calming effect for them and for the students, and to try to create an environment where they're not disruptive in any way.
Also, we would encourage you to encourage the students to interact with the residents. This is a really meaningful time for the residents of these retirement communities and nursing homes to have junior high students come and perform for them. They love the performance part, but even more so, they love to have interaction with the students. Some of the kids are very comfortable doing this. They enjoy going up to the residents and talking to them, but probably a majority of the students are a little bit uncomfortable with that. If you would just really encourage them to take the time and go and talk to the residents, that would be great. Some of the things you could encourage them to do is actually, they don't know what to say to these residents a lot of times, and if you would encourage them and give them different questions to maybe ask the residents, like where did you grow up? Do you have any children? How long have you lived here? Things like that. And if you can think of other questions, that's great. Just encourage the kids to have some conversation starters when they go up to the residents. Thanks.
We spend a lot of time on the buses, and they are very nice buses, coach buses. The kids will be very comfortable in them. And there's going to be a lot of in and out constantly as we're unloading and loading, getting out for lunch, getting out for different concerts. One of the things we want them to do is to try to keep their stuff on the bus when we go from place to place. If it's really, really cold, of course, they can take their coats. If it's not so cold, it's probably better if they don't. If they can just run in without their coats on, that just saves us having to find a place to put all their coats. Also, if they could make sure we stop for meals to have, well, actually it's just one meal, lunch on Friday, that they have their money with them, not in their bag or tucked away, or especially not with their luggage underneath. It's very difficult to try to get anything out of there when the luggage is packed. So we'd appreciate if maybe you could just check with your group, ask them, do you have your money? Keep your stuff on the bus. Things will go well. When we get to a venue where we're going to perform, we would like the percussionists to head right over to the truck. So we'd like to get them off the buses, get them over to the truck, and they can start unloading and moving things in before the rest of the students come in, because then that just creates all the pathways get clogged, and the places where we want to move and roll carts and drums and percussion and that kind of thing. If we can keep all those areas clear, that'll help us move in quicker. Once we get the equipment in, then the kids can come in and we can get situated. The same thing when we go to a place where we need the choral risers. I need the boys in the choir to go in and get those risers, and those are very heavy, and if there's people or things in the way, it's just very difficult for them to move those in and out of a building. So we would ask you to help us to keep those pathways clear and get those boys going, moving the risers in and out when the choir sings as well.
Also, there are several students that are going to need medication over the course of the 2 days that we're on tour. Mrs. Laura Postema and Mr. Phil Strzelka will be the chaperones that are in charge of the medication. Laura Postema will be in charge of all the girls' medication, and Phil Strzelka will be in charge of all the boys' medication. In the packet of your chaperone packet that you will be getting, if you haven't gotten that already, you should be getting that within the next day or so. And I will be sending that home with your son or daughter. But in that packet is going to be a chaperone group list that will also be color-coded. It will show what students need AM medications and PM medications, or if they need both. It's very easily interpretable, and you will have that in your chaperone packet. If you could please make sure to look that over and figure out if you have any students that need medication, and if you could try to encourage them in the morning or in the evening whenever they need their medication to actually go see Mrs. Postema or Mr. Strzelka. That would be great. Thanks.
When we're at the hotel, this is a very large resort and many places to go, many places to get lost. So we really need your help supervising all the students when we're there. In the evening, just keeping an eye on all the kids that are in your group, having them check in with you constantly. Wherever they go in the hotel, there should always be an adult presence. We don't want them going anywhere just by themselves. And of course, if they have to go use the restroom, even then, it would be nice if they're outside of their room somewhere else, they go with another student, not just by themselves. As we are, we have our name on this trip, and we want to leave a good impression. We want to be able to come back again, and we want people to think of Wheaton Christian Grammar School as a good customer at this hotel. So just if you could also at the water park supervise the kids, know where they are. It is a very contained area in the water park. It's not a huge water park, so it'll be easy to keep an eye on the kids. There are lifeguards there, but we want to make sure they're not running and not carrying on too much. Of course, we want them to have fun and have a good time, but keep an eye on them. One word about the hot tub. It's a very large hot tub that goes from the inside, and you can actually go underneath the wall to the outside. You can sit in the hot tub on the outside. Even when it's cold and chilly, they still have that open because the water is very warm. We want the kids supervised out there. If there is no adult presence outside in the hot tub, we want the kids not to go out there. Even in the hot tub itself on the inside, we would like an adult presence there, just to keep them accountable, that they are making good choices. We want them to, again, we want them to have fun, but we want them to be guided in their choices as well.
What to wear. Chaperones, you are welcome to wear a nice pair of blue jeans on the tour. You are not required to dress up unless you would like to dress up a little bit. The students have their set uniform that they will be wearing, but you are welcome to wear comfortable clothes. We'd like you to look nice, but you don't need to be dressed up. When we are in the water park, you want to make sure that you are wearing comfortable, hot weather clothes. The water park itself is quite warm and muggy, and so I would encourage you to either wear a pair of shorts or just a cool pair of pants, and then a short sleeve shirt or even a sleeveless shirt while you are there. If you would like to swim, that would be great. We would love if we had some parents who are swimming with the kids. That's great. If we have a parent who doesn't mind swimming and wants to get in the hot tub, that's great as well. Then while we're at the hotel, one issue is we do not want boys on the girls' floor, and we do not want girls on the boys' floor. There shouldn't really be a reason for them to be on the floor other than where their room is. So if you could just make sure the kids know that, that would be great. Also, when they're at the hotel, there should be no TV watching. We just make sure your students know that there is no TV allowed while they are there. If they turn on the TV and you hear it or whatever, then please feel free to head into the room and explain to them again that there is no TV while they're at the hotel. Also, just a little reminder, the girls are on the floor, the second floor, the boys are on the first floor. We are not all directly underneath each other's rooms. Mr. Wright and I had a group of girls last year that were having a really great time, but they pretty much danced and jumped up and down for a good portion of the night, which did not let us sleep very well. So if you could just talk to the girls, if you're a chaperone for the girls, and help them to understand that there possibly are other people underneath them besides our school, and they should really be concerned about the noise that they're creating in their rooms, because that will travel to the rooms that are below them.
And the boys too, for that matter, they should be held to the same standard. We want to make sure that the kids behave well. One thing I thought of too about cell phone usage, and we talked to the kids about this, and it's in the rules, but we want you to just to monitor this. We don't need to be super heavy-handed about this, but we do want the students, they are allowed to have their phones with them, but when we're at concerts, they should not be visible or seen. If they're in their pockets, that's fine. If they keep them out of sight, we don't want students walking around looking at cell phones when they're supposed to be ministering to people at the venues. That's pretty important to us, and we would hope that would be important to you too, and we would ask you to help us with that. When they're at the hotel and other places, the mall, it's certainly fine, but again, just guide them in the usage of their cell phones. We want them to be social with each other at the hotel and have fun together, not just sitting in a circle looking at their cell phones or texting the person who's only 10 feet away from them. That's not the kind of environment we're trying to create at this thing. So the cell phone usage is fine, but we want to make sure that it's done in good taste and that they use good judgment with that. We have a great time of worship after our swimming time at the water park. It's always been a highlight of the kids' time at Rockford, and it has been as adults as well. We enjoy the closeness and the friendship of all the kids, the relationship even with the adults, teachers, and the students. It's greatly developed and strengthened during this time. Just want to make sure that you're still with us there. We want your presence, we want your supervision, and in your guidance with the kids as they go through this time of worship together. Breakfast should be picked up, and they'll usually put in bags by the chaperones at the end of the worship time. Please pick those up and bring those to your room so you can distribute those to the students in the morning.
That. The students will actually pick up the breakfast themselves. The chaperones don't need to get you can get your own breakfast, but the breakfast will be actually picked up by the students themselves for the morning.
And perhaps we could just say, make sure they do that and make sure they actually get back to their rooms. I can just see them picking one up and then just leaving it there. And then we have to deliver, 15, 20 lunches breakfasts that were left there. So encourage them, make sure you have your breakfast, make sure that makes it back to your room. In the rooms by 10:30, lights out by 11 o'clock. In their rooms, meaning in their room, not in someone else's room. So we want them to be all in their rooms by 10:30, starting to settle down. It's not a party time at that point. We need quiet at 10:30. They can read, they can pray, and they'll be just be coming from worship. So the very natural inclination might be to want to pray together, which is a really great thing. But just really quiet activities, not jumping, hollering, and yelling, and running around, racing around. At 10:30, that's it. And then 11 o'clock, lights out, and everything's quiet. And that's our goal. We may need to stay up a little bit to make sure that happens. If you're on them about it and we remind them frequently, it usually works out quite well. So just appreciate your support on that. Before my wife makes a few closing comments, I want to thank you for doing this. This has been a wonderful trip for us that we've been doing for many years now. And a lot of the reason why this trip is so great is because of the people that are in charge and the people that come as leaders. And that's you. The way that you work with the kids, the way you love them, the way you accept them, the way that you reach out to those that look like they may be without a friend or not in a group. It really can have a great impact, a long-lasting impact on these kids, the way that the chaperones reach out to them. So,
thank you again for your willingness to chaperone this event. We look forward to a great weekend with the kids and look forward to a meaningful time for you, for the kids, and for the residents of the communities that we're going to be serving. Your chaperone packet will be coming home hopefully today for you to look over that. Please take time to look over it thoroughly, and also don't forget to bring it with you to take along to our trip this weekend. Look forward to seeing you then. Bye-bye.